So we are here today with Willie Shawn Gregory, who is seeking to become the Ward 2 Alderman on the Springfield City Council in the April 2nd election. We appreciate you being here today and invite you to start by providing an opening statement that introduces yourself to voters and why are you seeking this office.
Thank you for this opportunity. I greatly appreciate it. My name is Willie Shawn Gregory. I'm a candidate for the Ward 2 Alderman position, and quite frankly, I just love our people of that community and the city overall as a whole. I'm interested in only the things which make our community better, more so than what I sometimes may feel is best. I think I'm just as brilliant and smart as any politician on this race. I think I have fresh ideas and fresh eyes for things that are going on within the community to truly make it better. I'm under no illusions that these things can be done with one person. I fully understand that I have to work with the 9 members of the council as well as the mayor, as well as social and civil organizations within that community to try to make it better. I truly feel that the citizens of any community have the right to expect the government to speak to their needs, and I'm here to join in and focus on making the community better.
Okay, excellent.
We do have questions on various topics, but could you first, you mentioned you have what you think are some innovative ideas that are fresh for the city. Could you run through a couple?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. One of the major things that I have studied, and even with past editorial boards or forums, is the thing of community center always comes up. We always get promises on those things. I have looked into several situations of why maybe we're having some hurdles with that and how we can bridge that gap. One of the things I would like to see is not only a community center for recreational, but that whole building or that structure would not only host a recreational component, but also alternative school or like an incubator type of feel where young adult professionals which are in that community would be able to still come in and connect with brilliant minds just as we do downtown. I think that's a need as well as adult services and places where we can have different things in that community.
So you are taking on an incumbent.
Absolutely.
Why challenge?
Well, it's nothing personal. I think we just have some fundamental differences on how we move this community forward. One of those things is really being out in the community every day and working with the various different social and civil organizations that are there. I think sometimes when some of our elders get to a point where they're comfortable in things, we lose connect sometimes, and that's okay. That's not foreign. There'll be a young guy coming to push me out the way too, with some new, fresh ideas to push his generation forward, and that's what I'm here for, not as an enemy of anybody.
Okay. What do you see as one of the, the 1 or 2 pressing issues facing the ward that you live in, and how you would work to address those?
Well, everywhere I've went, every door that I've knocked, I've always heard about there's no business, there's no investment in this community. We feel forgotten, and that's I live in that community. I have for pretty much my whole life, and I feel that the same way. We definitely have to connect with some businesses and some organizations that understand that there may be some growing pains, that there may be some things that we have to overcome by placing a business in that community, right? I think we all know that, but I'm looking to connect with a business that has a good heart, that wants to take a chance to try to help a poverty, ravaged community.
Can you expand on that a little bit? What kind of obstacles, what kind of hurdles are there to bring business to Ward 2?
Well, it just it's not the prettiest side of town. Our crime rate at times have been high, and those are things, as a business owner, I can totally understand them taking into consideration. What I look for is to them being mindful that you know, there are going to be maybe some hurdles, maybe a window get broken here or there, or whatever the case may be. Nothing drastic that should drive you away from a business. I think that any business that would take that leap of faith into that community would see the rewards that they would, you know, very well appreciate it and shop with them. For instance, Carter's Fish has been on that side of town for, you know, God knows when. I'm only 34. I think it was there before I was even born. And you know, I don't think they have any problems at all. You know, they're, you know, everybody from white to black to whoever goes to that fish market.
So with that, are you aware of policies or rules or regulations that the city has in place that work against business development on the east side?
I don't know if we have any policies and procedures in place to work against it. I think maybe we have some zoning opportunities maybe that we could look at and address. I think me as a prospective alderman, you know, would be somebody to, when we get inquiries from different businesses that want to come into Springfield, that we say, hey, you know, out west is great, it's growing, it's growing every day, but I would like to see you guys take opportunity on another side of town. Let's try to jumpstart that town. Springfield is such a great city and has so much potential, but we're never going to reach that full potential until all sides are just clicking in one order. And I think we're about there. I think we just need to look to see how we can jumpstart it.
So are there some incentives that the city needs to offer?
Correct.
Additional incentives for the east side?
I think so. I think various ways, whether it's TIF funds or whether it's this new opportunity zone that has rolled out through the government that I'm currently studying to try to give some tax breaks to businesses and things to encourage them to take that leap of faith.
Citywide, we'd say one of the most pressing issues facing the city is homelessness. So what roadblocks do you see in addressing the homelessness issue in the city, and how would you, if elected to council, work to solve it?
Well, I know it's a big deal to a lot of people, but I don't know why. They're people just like me and you. They're falling upon some hard times, and I think us as a city needs to continue to figure out ways to bring services to them to help them overcome the situation they're in. No, we won't be able to help everybody. No, we won't be able to just cure our homeless population, but we definitely have to take more proactive steps, and I don't think finding them or arresting or anything of that matter is going to move us forward. I think working with them and our organizations that we have to help them overcome. You know, I have family that's homeless and things of that nature, and I keep those things at my heart because when we talk about what we're going to do with them, I don't want anybody arresting my family because she's fell upon hard times. I don't want anybody finding my family because she fell upon hard times. And I think we have to remember that they're still people. I totally understand. We don't want individuals downtown bothering our tourists and things, but we have to keep mindful that homeless population is an issue in every city. I mean, I coach basketball and AAU basketball, and everywhere I go, there's a population of homeless people asking, for some monetary funds or asking for some food or something, and you're either going to give it to them and go on about your business or you're not.
You said the city should work to bring resources to them. What kind of resources are you talking about?
Well, from anywhere from job placement, assistance, maybe it's, the lady or sir just fell upon some hard times, can't find a job, whether it's housing assistance, they just need a place to stay for a few weeks until they can get out of town. I think we have a program in place right now, a very nice job by the individuals who created it to help find out where they're from and get them on the bus and get them bus tickets and things of that nature. What concerns me about that is just I don't want to be sending somebody from this city just to another city to be somebody else's problem. So I want to make sure that we're not only, helping them get to where they are, but connecting back to their families or whoever they need to be to return back to a safe environment.
You talked some about attracting businesses
Absolutely.
to one of the big economic development issues has been the formation of the Land of Lincoln Economic Development Corporation.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe, what's your take on how it's going so far?
Well, I have read the recent articles on how that gentleman is ready to take action and things of that nature. I know that some of the previous reports and things was on that, it's just not very much over there. I'm with him fully that we definitely need to break some ground and do something. That area needs a, quite frankly, a win. And that's what I'm going for, to get some business in there. And like I said, I want to connect with businesses that, CEOs that have a good heart, that want to try to help a community get better. And if not, should they even be in the city at all if they don't want to try to help a community overcome?
The city council has provided funding for the EDC, and probably be asked to again, $250,000, not a small amount in a tight budget. Is that something you believe the city should continue providing, that amount of money?
I would look at it as a situation. If we're giving $250,000 for them to come up with a plan that we're going to take action, then I'm with it. Okay. But if we're just giving $250 to study more, then I would be against it. I think the studying is clear as day that we have some opportunities over in that area.
I alluded the money is a lot for our city, given the tough budget times we've had the last 2 years.
Absolutely.
During the last 2 years, the city council has approved some tax increases to provide additional revenue for those services. I know you weren't on council then, but if you were, would you have voted for those measures?
Like I said, at that time, if they had a plan in place for us to take some serious action, I would have considered it. But just to do another study, I probably would have voted against it, because I feel like, we're in a tight budget space, and, any money that we're going to put out, it needs to be to something that's going to get the ball rolling on whatever project that we're doing.
I apologize. These were tax increases, like the telecom tax and the sales tax and the natural lodging tax, the hotel motel, those were all raised, and like the hotel motel tax went to a specific area. The telecom tax, one of those tax increases went to the library.
Okay.
So no one likes raising taxes, but
absolutely,
these were areas. The sales tax, I think in particular, got some blowback. Do you think those are things the council should have done?
Yeah. Without knowing the full situation, the sales tax thing is hard. But at some time, I know to deliver some services, we're going to have to do that in some spaces. I think if we're going to do that, like with I want to say the tax that went to the library, absolutely a great situation to do. Our library is important. We only have one. We don't have the satellite locations anymore like we used to. For a reason, they weren't utilized, as that main library was, so I can understand us closing those down. I think that was a great one. Like I said, as long as, a tax is going to be in a benefit of something that we truly, truly need, then I would consider it and be for it. But if it's just for a study or for something that we're not going to see some impact, then I would be against it.
The city's financial situation does seem to have stabilized this year. The budget, going into the budget, there don't appear to be as many issues as in previous years. If you were a member of the council, what approach would you take to financial matters, and how would you work to keep the city's finances stable? Well,
first is the priority of the situation. I know our firefighters had some situations where they wanted to buy some more AED things or versus 2 trucks. I'm going to say maybe 1 truck, but we definitely want to make sure you have your AED things to help people and save people's life. I think that's priority. I think whatever the cost may be, I'm gonna side with that. As far as 2 trucks to pull, a boat to save a life at the lake, maybe not 2, but maybe we can look at 1 and maybe put some money somewhere else. So just based off priority and how we need to do it, and where we're at budget wise, because we don't want to go over. We want to try to save some money, but at the same time, we don't want to put any life saving efforts at risk.
It's been debated now for a while, but what do you think should go on the Y block?
Well, and I'm glad you asked that question. I am open to the newest proposals with the universities, absolutely. I personally would love to see everybody says Springfield gets kind of boring at times. I would love to see part of the first plan intertwined with more of an amphitheater, outside theater type of thing where people can come downtown and enjoy. We're about to have, 25 concerts this summer, and we'll be looking for a place to have them. I would love to see that type of atmosphere created for downtown, not only to drive revenue, but also provide just a fun atmosphere and a destination attraction for our tourists downtown. On the flip side, you can't go wrong with some young kids at a university setting. I think if we're going to do that, I still would like to see something. Fun, is not the word I'm actually looking for, but I'm gonna use it for those kids. We don't want them just to go to all the bars down there. We want to make sure that we have something else for them to go to while they're in school. And of course, 21-year-olds gonna do what they're gonna do, but we definitely want to make sure that we have something else for them to do along with that.
You said kind of create atmosphere. Are there other things you'd like to see happen in downtown?
Yes,
to create that.
I think with that Y block, I think my vision would be amphitheater type of thing, outdoor, with some of our park components that have already been drawn up. I think some of those things are a lovely idea, along with a retail section that would sort of go on the L down. I want to say Capitol down 5th Street or vice versa, with some upstairs residential with a downstairs market. And I think we're sort of creating an atmosphere of fun and revenue and, a destination for people.
Okay. The city has not raised its property tax rate in more than 3 decades. It's been a long time. Do you support that philosophy, and why or why not?
I support us. I know they haven't raised it since the 80s, I want to say. Yeah. And I do support it because it shows that we don't want to make life harder on people who have own homes. We know that our assessment tax and things like that have raised. I know it'll be an issue coming down, and we'll just have to look at it and see what the increases be, and is it going to kill people as far as in this world, ever-changing world and of money and inflation and things getting higher, and we don't, as a city, we don't want to make that worse. It's already getting tough enough on people, even making good money.
Yeah. Pensions are eating up a larger share of the city's budget every year, actually. All of the city's share of property taxes now indeed goes to paying our pensions.
Yes.
And it's clearly an issue throughout the state. I mean, we're limited in somewhat because the legislature controls what the benefits are and things like that, so it's hard.
Absolutely.
It's hard. But what types of pension reforms would you advocate for as a member of city council?
It's law that those people have a right to collect their pensions, and it's something that it's our obligation to pay. I think more so than to reform how it's done, I think we need to look at how we're creating revenue for our city to get it paid. If there is a reform, I know Arizona has done some things. I know, some different aldermen have spoken on what different states have done. But I think for our particular city, other than raising that sales tax, we need to look at different ways that we can help that. Certainly don't want to lay anybody off. Certainly don't want to freeze hiring and things of that nature. But we need to look at that along with some experts in pension reforms on making the best situation for the city. It may come to being a small property owner increase. That's something that we'll have to take a hard look at. Like I said, we don't want to hurt people who already own homes and already having a tough enough time paying the taxes and things on that. But at the same time, we haven't raised it since the late 80s. So, we need to look at times and how we move forth.
Okay.
One of the kind of continuing things that the city struggle with is minority membership in police and fire, on city boards and commissions. You have some thoughts, suggestions
Well,
to help them along with that?
I do. I mean, honestly, you know, it's tough. It's tough to convince African Americans to go into the police sector. You know, when that, you know, community is just having such a hard time bridging the gap with that community. I know a report just came out. There was 12,000 stops, 42% minority, 3 times more likely to be pulled out in consent to search, but less likely to be found with something. You know, our police chief, Kenny Winslow, I have a great relationship with him, but he knows that I disagree with him on there's not any racism. You know, I'm sure all 276 or 278 of officers, what it is, are not racist or have racist values or things like that, but we definitely have a problem with how we are addressing even repeat offenders. Just because a guy went to jail for an offense, he served his time, he comes out, he did what he did, it doesn't mean a target needs to be on his back. I think sometimes when we get you know, a rash of shootings, things that they need to address and need to get after, I think some innocent people get caught in the way with stops and things, and it further aggravates the culture of people. So I think once we get better in that aspect, then, you know, it'll be easier for minorities to want to be cops and things of that nature. And it starts with us as parents, with our young kids, making sure that they know that the police aren't our enemies and things of that nature, and how to conduct themselves. As far as firefighters and other commissions and things like that, I think we need to push it a little more as far as getting it out to those communities, not from a city standpoint, not from this horseshoe part, but I want to see our captains, our chiefs, and whoever go out and recruit these people and be in the community, and I think they'll see an increase in that. A firefighter is a great job. It's a tough job. I think some people think that it's a little tougher than what it is to get in, to get in, and it's not. You know, I've been there. I've taken the police test. I didn't go to college. I don't have no law student degrees, but I did pass, and I was in a higher band. You know, down the line, I think we need to look at that. I think that still sort of hurts how many minorities get through the system. I mean, if you got 3 bands and each one of them have, you know, the first one got 14, the second one got 85, the third one got whatever, well, a guy like me is in the third band at spot 80, they're going to pick 12 officers way before they get to me, right? Those people qualify. So, you know, while I was, you know, a good candidate for it, you never even got to me. So, you know, and then it's dead in a year, and, you know, do you take it again or whatever the case may be? You know, it's a lot of work. So, you know, we lose that that hope at that point sometimes.
Going back to the police, you know, are there things that they should be doing that they aren't to improve these relations?
Well, you know, one of the key things I think sometimes that you know they go through is trying to catch the criminal and you know, maybe stopping the wrong guy. I've been there, right? As far as the searches and things like that, you know, citizens have to know that if your car smells like marijuana, you're coming out, period. No questions asked. On the flip side, I think getting there to the stop sometimes is unjustifiably so. Maybe we stopped them unjustifiably for a little tail light or whatever the case may be, but now they're, you know, whatever, and we pulled them out. So people are like, well, you shouldn't even pull me over in the first place and things of that nature. Well, you know, and that's true in some sense. You know, I can guarantee you if I drive my car around in the community, I'll be pulled over at some point in time for, you know, whether they, you know, it's just the look thing. I mean, I've been there, guys, and I think we gotta get past that. I think we you know, police work is not easy, and that's what it is. But we still got to do our job. I don't think that we can, you know, just you know, get the guys that look the way, because times have changed. You know, it just is what it is.
Moving on, there's arguably in Illinois a negative perception of Springfield. Our new economic development director argues that when people say that, they mean state government in the capital. And then I think he said the rest of the city is pretty cool. So how would you describe the relationship between the city of Springfield and state government that is run of the capital?
Well, I know for the past 4 years it seemed to be a little rough with getting communication between both facets. I think our newly elected governor has the willingness to work with our community and really make an impact within our community, especially with this house being here. And for me, I'm eager to meet with him and talk to him. I'd love for him to, my message to him would be, when you look out of that mansion window across those tracks, what you see, do you like? Your house is, I want to say it's in Ward 2, which would be my ward and things of that nature. So he's our neighbor. He's my neighbor. And when you look out that window, do you like what you see? Excuse me. When I speak of our people, I'm referring to all people of that community. My neighbor to the right of me is black, and the neighbor to me left of me is white. And when it floods, we all are sick of it. And now that they know I'm running for alderman, I hear about it a little more than normal than before. But it's a true issue. So my overall, nobody's outlook should be any different, regardless of color, and we live in the same area, we see the same things.
Another thing that's been an issue in the past year is tourism. Do you think the city is doing a good job leveraging its attractions? And if not, what could be done better?
I think they're doing a sound job on it. I think we did a great job with the the concert series that's coming here. I think we do a great job. We've always done a great job of advertising Abe Lincoln, New Salem, and all of our major sites. The Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library, it was a big hit for us. I'm glad we did go that way, especially being in there and really seeing what it's about. I think a large amount of people know about it, and we know what we've always went, New Salem, blah blah blah, with that. But when you really go there, it's so amazing. It's really more than what I even thought it was. I thought, another Lincoln thing, whatever. But when I got in, I'm like, wow, this is really cool. So and I think we need to continue to push that, and that's a major place here in Springfield. I mean, people come from China just to come see that thing, so it's definitely nice. So I definitely think they're doing a sound job on it, and I'll join in the efforts to bring tourism to the city as well.
This has been a debate between the county and the city a little bit, but should Capital Township be merged? And if so, with which entity, the county or the city?
I absolutely agree with it being merged and consolidated with the city. I think it lays in the city boundaries. I think the people who use Capital Township all stay within the city, and probably in our mostly in our most powerful areas use that a lot more. So I definitely think we can benefit by it being absorbed into the city and things of that nature. I do know that our voters voted for it to go with the county. I think that we got to take that into consideration. Also, people have voiced what they want to do with it. I know the mayor's working on some things to try to get it on the something on the ballot to see if the city would be an option. So I think we look at that, and I think I'm a big proponent of listening to people and what the people want.
Is there anything else you'd like to share about yourself with the voters that we didn't ask you about, an issue that you're passionate about?
I'm just passionate about actually, not only about being a servant leader. Not only will they see me, at the city council around the horseshoe, but I'll be out in my community pushing the very things that I speak on of economic development and youth engagement and on whatever every day, because not only do we have to encourage this community to do more for itself, but we have to get out there with them, and maybe it's, you know, showing them the way, or giving them some tips, or introducing them to a buddy of mine that knows how to write a business plan or a grant, or work around the zoning issues, or whatever may be holding them back from starting a small business or things of that nature. I think those are important for any community. So that's me. I want to be a servant leader. I think there's a greatness in service.
Well, then we appreciate you coming in today and meeting with us, and invite you to give a closing statement, a brief closing statement, kind of an elevator pitch as to why voters in Ward 2 should choose you.
All right. I'm Willie Shawn Gregory, and I'm the best choice for Ward 2 as I'll outwork it. Any one of my opponents day in and day out, and I look to be a lifelong fighter for this community and city overall.